Hi everyone, this is Nadia from Ripples of Change, and today we're going to be doing a heart opening class. And so we're really going to be working on those shoulders, but on top of that, we're also going to be counteracting it with some deep hip opening, and that's really going to be our splits series, and you'll see more throughout the class. So to really set yourself up for success and really allow yourself to have maximum comfort throughout these poses, I encourage you to have a bolster or a pillow handy, and we'll be sitting on this bolster to start out our practice. And then I also encourage you to have a block or maybe two blocks. And if you don't have blocks, no worries, you can always use one of those thick textbooks or thick books. I know that you're waiting to and eager to read it. And once you have your props, really setting yourself up for success, we're going to come into a seated position. And then once we're in this seated position, trying to find this alignment of chin slightly touched, ears over shoulders, over hips. And then once you're here, breathing. We're gonna breathe together. So we're gonna breathe in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Inhale through the mouth. Exhale through the nose. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale mouth. Exhale nose. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale mouth. Exhale nose. Keeping with that breath for just a few more moments. And as you start to center the breath, it's really common for different emotions, different feelings to arise. So as these feelings arise, can you greet them with loving awareness? And so loving awareness is really, it's a lack of judgment. It's noticing something, whether it's good or bad, and trying to greet it with love. And so for me, that looks a lot like acceptance. Accepting your emotions, your feelings. And it's a constant practice of coming back to this acceptance again and again throughout the practice. So doing this breath one last time, inhale nose, exhale mouth, inhale mouth, exhale nose. And this time when you inhale, bringing your hands to heart center. And exhaling, sighing anything out. And starting to call to mind an intention for this practice. It could be a prayer, it could be a quote. It could also be an affirmation, an I am statement. I am unconditional love. I am loving awareness. And as you say these intentions or prayer or whatever your intention is for this practice, knowing that it's open to change throughout the practice, throughout your heart's desires or by your heart's desires. But we'll seal in the practice with this intention. So we're going to inhale, bringing our intention up to the sky. And then we'll exhale, spreading the intention all around us. We can also do a visualization. So we inhale, bringing this white light energy up from the heart, up to the heavens. And we exhale, spreading it all around us. Last one, we inhale, bringing up the intention. Exhale, planting it like seeds all around us. And then bringing the hands to the knees. We're going to start to move into some more of our movement here. And we're going to start by actually just looking down towards the ground, so chin to chest. And then we'll inhale, looking up towards the sky. This is an opportunity to bring and unite breath with motion. So inhaling through the nose as you look up. And then exhaling through the nose as you look down. You can also exhale through the mouth. It really depends on what you want out of this practice. So when we inhale and exhale through the nose, we're circulating our energy. And when we inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, we're releasing any stagnant energy. So doing that motion just one last time. And then coming into these half circles. So when we have our chin to chest, we're going to bring our left ear to our left shoulder, or reach for left ear to left shoulder. And then we'll exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Inhale, other side. Exhale, other side. So you can stick with this semicircle, or you can go into full neck circles. It really just depends on how your neck is feeling, what type of motion you need right now. If you're doing neck circles, full neck circles, maybe switching directions. Two more circles. Meeting me with chin to chest. And then we'll inhale, spinal roll up to a neutral seated. Now we're going to transition into our tabletop position. So moving the bolster away if you are using one. And we're going to find shoulders over wrist, hips over knees, and you can tuck the toes if you want. So once we're in this neutral tabletop, we're just going to sway our hips from side to side a bit. So bringing hips to the right and then to the left. And we're going to be going into something called tiger pose, but we're going to slowly progress our way there. And so first to start, noticing if you feel any discomfort. Discomfort in the knees, maybe you add a blanket underneath the knees. Discomfort in the wrist, maybe you take a block and put it directly underneath the wrist. Once you have whatever props that you need to support you here, we're coming back into tabletop, and then we'll inhale, lift the right leg up. So we're bringing the right foot up towards the sky, flexing the foot. This is our first progression. Second progression, we engage the core and inhale, lift the left arm up. So we have opposing arm and leg up. Our third progression, we bring or reach to bring the left arm to reach the right ankle. From here, we look forward, opening up in the chest. If you're reaching, that's fine. Finding whatever progression of this pose that you're in. Maybe you shake a little bit like I did. And then exhale, release. Coming back to that side hip motion. And then we'll inhale and do it on the other side. So inhale, we lift the left leg up. So our left foot is reaching up towards the sky. And then our next inhale, we lift the right arm up, reaching. So our right arm tries to reach to grab the left ankle. And then we'll inhale and look up again. Feeling that stretch opening in the chest. Engaging the core to keep the balance. Holding here for one last breath. Deep inhale. And then exhale, release. And then once we're here, swaying from side to side. You can come into a child's pose here. So maybe bringing your knees wide, feet kissing, pressing the hips back, trying to bring your booty down to the ground, forehead to the ground, lengthening in the spine. Coming back to the breath here, that deep, intentional breath. One last breath in child's pose. And then we'll inhale, rise back up into the tabletop. Bring your knees back to hip width distance so that the knees are right underneath the hips. Tucking the toes. And then we're going to inhale, lifting our hips up towards the sky, coming into our downward facing dog. If downward facing dog doesn't feel comfortable for you, stay in tabletop. So from here, we're just going to paddle out the legs. So bending opposing knees. Noticing how your legs feel, noticing how your arms feel. Can you shoot the energy down the legs into the heels? One deep breath here. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up towards the sky. And then we're going to exhale, bring the right leg as close to the right hand as you can. We're coming into a lunge. So wherever your foot lands, you'll then slide the hands back, slide the left foot back to come into that low lunge. From here, we'll drop the left knee down to the ground, untuck the toes. You can bring hands to hips to come into this low lunge. So this is our first progression, hands on the hips. We have this knee over ankle relationship. And we're breathing nice and deep. So for our second progression, we're really gonna activate the glutes. So we're gonna squeeze the booty as we interlace our hands behind our back, opening up in the chest, looking up towards the sky. Deep breaths here. Maybe each exhale you open up a bit more in the chest, deep in the back bend. One last breath, deep inhale. And then exhale, lowering the hands to the ground. We're going to straighten the front leg, flexing that foot so that the toes come up towards the sky. You can grab a block here if you want one, or two. And these blocks will help keep you a little bit more upright for this half split. So you can be on the high setting, you can be on a lower setting, but the purpose of this pose here is to really open up your hamstrings and hips. So an inhale that allows you to lengthen a bit in the spine, And then an exhale that maybe presses you a little bit further into your half split. One last breath here. Deep inhale. And then exhale, slowly coming back into that lunge. So bending that front foot, sliding the hands back, planting the hands on the ground. We're then gonna come back into our tabletop and sway the hips from side to side again. Maybe even finding hip circles if that feels good for you. Nice and slow and gentle. And then on your next inhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, coming into that downward facing dog. Breathing here. Can you connect into the differences or notice if there's any difference between the left and the right side of the body? Accepting those differences with that sense of loving awareness. And then we'll inhale, lift the left leg up towards the sky. And then exhale, stepping the left foot as close to left hand as you can. And then sliding the hands to be right next to the foot and sliding the right foot back to come into that low lunge. And then drop the right knee, untuck the toes, hands to hips. This is our first progression. Breathing here. Progressing a little bit further, we interlace the hands behind the back, engage the glutes, so squeeze the booty together. That's going to protect our lower back. We open up in the chest, look up towards the sky. Inhale for lengthening, exhale, deepening the back bend. One last breath here. Exhale, releasing the hands back down to the mat. Straightening that front foot, bringing the toes up towards the sky, bringing hands to blocks. If that's in your practice, finding that half split. And the thing about half split is that over time, we actually work our way into a full split. So notice as you do this practice over time, if your flexibility changes. Being mindful continuously of how your body feels each and every day. Because some days we might feel more flexible and might be more flexible than other days. Can we have loving awareness of the differences in the body from day to day? One last breath here, deep inhale. And then exhale, bringing that foot back, coming into your tabletop. And then finding your hip sways or hip circles, whatever feels best for you here. Two last breaths here. And then tucking the toes, inhaling, lifting the hips, coming into that downward facing dog again. Pausing here for a moment. And then on your next inhale, looking to the front of the mat, bending the knees, walking or hopping to the front of the mat, keeping a slight bend in the knees, we lengthen in the spine. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release. grabbing both elbows, finding some side sways in your forward fold, swinging as if you were a pendulum. We're going to exhale, release the arms down. Inhale, root to rise, bringing the fingertips up towards the sky, stretching up. And exhale, bringing hands to heart center, connecting back with your intention for this practice. We'll inhale, reach the arms back up towards the heavens. Exhale, swan dive down towards the ground. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release. Both hands to the ground, bending in the knees. We step back into our plank. From here, you can come all the way down. So you're trying to bring your chin to the ground. You can also be on your knees here. So come chin to the ground. Then we bring the feet to the ground, rise up. Cobra. So we're pressing in the arms, engaging the glutes. And then we'll spinal roll, rolling wave, back up into our plank. Breathing here for a moment. And then we'll inhale, lift the right leg up towards the sky. And exhale, step it through. We're trying to bring our right foot close to right hand. And then we're going to plant the back foot on the ground. So we're going to shorten our stance here a little bit. Our back foot is at the 45-degree angle. Beautiful. From here, we'll inhale, rise up. This is our warrior one. We have this knee over ankle relationship. Beautiful. Breathing here. We'll exhale, interlace the hands behind the back, engage the glutes, opening up in the chest, slightly looking up towards the sky. Beautiful. Deep inhale. And exhale, we'll bring our hands down towards the ground, straightening the front leg so that we have a flex in the front foot. This is our variation of a pyramid pose. So breathing here, feeling the energy rise up through the ankle into the hips. Beautiful. On our next exhale, we'll plant the foot down and we're going to bring the weight onto the right foot. As we inhale, lift the left leg up towards the sky. Standing split. Engaging the leg here, so going only as high as it feels comfortable for you. If you want a little bit more challenge, maybe you release the right hand and bring it to the right calf. Maybe you do the same with the left hand. And then exhale, slowly bring the foot back down. Coming into a lunge here, so we have our back foot, we're just on the ball of the foot. And then we'll, in this lunge, come into a twist. So inhale, lifting the right arm up towards the sky. Exhale, bringing the hand down towards the ground, stepping back into our plank, and then pressing back into our downward facing dog. Beautiful. Maybe swaying your hips from side to side. We're going to do the other side now. So we'll inhale, lift the left leg up towards the sky. And then exhale, step it through. Finding our warrior one stance. So maybe it's a little bit shorter. Then our warrior to our average stance. We have the back leg to the 45. We have knee over ankle in the front. And then we inhale, rise up, nice and strong. Beautiful. Breathe in here. Deep inhale to lengthen. Exhale, interlacing the hands behind the back, pressing open with the chest. How does it feel to move through life with your heart open? Standing proud. We'll exhale, bring the hands to the ground, flexing the left foot. So our toes are rising up towards the sky. One last breath here. And then on that inhale, shifting the weight to the left foot. And then rising the right foot up towards the sky. Standing split. And having loving awareness for if one side feels different and has less mobility or more mobility than the other. Maybe you progress a little bit further to try and release a hand or release both hands. Or maybe you just stay here. Whatever variation you do of this pose is 100% okay. It is you expressing love to your body by doing what feels best in each and every moment. Deep inhale, last breath here. Exhale, slowly drop the foot down, coming into that lunge. And then open up, twist to the left. So left arm rises up towards the sky. And exhale, release down towards the ground. Stepping that foot back, plank, and then downward facing dog. And then bringing our knees wide down towards the ground, feet kissing, pressing the hips back, coming into our child's pose again. And then we'll inhale, rising back up into our tabletop. And from here, we're going to actually bring our feet out towards the right and sit our tailbone down, coming into our seated position. So our feet will come out in front of us. And from here, we're just going to shake out the legs a little bit. Maybe even hitting down the legs and then hitting up towards the thighs. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to come into our fish pose. So we're going to bring our elbows down towards the ground. Our chest is up. And so we have a few options from here. Our first option is to just look forward. Our second option is to look up towards the sky. Our third option is to open up the chest as we bring our head, the crown of our head, pointed towards the ground. So this is a deep chest opener, but also opens up a lot of tension in the throat. So one last breath here, deep inhale. And then exhale, spinal roll to face the front of your mat. From here, we'll walk the hands forward to try and reach the hands towards the toes. And so we're really trying to hinge from the hips here. So if you can't reach the toes, that's okay. Maybe you have your hands on your calves, on your knees, but we're really trying to not crouch in the hips or crouch in the shoulders. We're really hinging from the hips. So breathing here wherever you are for just 2 more breaths. And then on your next exhale, spinal rolling all the way down onto the ground. From here, you're going to bend the knees so that the feet come down towards the ground. The knees are up towards the sky. We're going to come into our bridge pose. So we have a few options for bridge. Our first option, and what we're all going to do together, is we're going to inhale, lifting the hips up off the ground so that we rise up onto the shoulder blades. From here, you can reach towards your feet, so hands to feet, or you can interlace the hands underneath the tailbone. Our third progression here is if we feel comfortable in this, we can come into wheel. So that means we would bring the hands to the shoulders, underneath the shoulders, and lift up in the chest, coming into wheel. 1 deep breath wherever you are. Deep inhale. And slowly exhale, coming down if you're in wheel, coming into bridge, activating the whole lower body, and then slowly spinal rolling down, bringing each vertebra down to the ground nice and slow. Beautiful. Wiping the knees out from side to side. And then dropping the knees to one side, bringing whatever hand is closest to that knee. So it's right hand to right hand to left knee, or left hand to right knee. And really pressing that knee down, trying to make sure that both of your shoulder blades are also pressed down on the ground. And then if that feels good, maybe looking in the opposite direction of the knees. This is our supine twist. Beautiful. Exhaling, looking back towards center. Bringing the knees back up and windshield wipering them from side to side again. And then dropping the knees down towards the other side. Bringing the hand to knee, pressing down the knees, pressing the shoulders down, and then maybe looking in the opposite direction of the knee. Breathing nice and intentionally here. Maybe throughout this practice you've changed the type of breath. Maybe you started in through the nose, out through the mouth, and have switched to completely in and out through the nose. Or maybe vice versa, just noticing that change. One last breath here. Releasing the head, and then windshield wipering again. And And then on your next inhale, bringing knees to chest. Maybe you sway a little bit from side to side, giving the low back a massage. You can make circles with the knees. You can make zigzags with the knees. Whatever movement feels good for you here. You can even roll up and down gently on the back. And then whenever you're ready, coming into our final resting pose, bringing both feet to the ground, maybe knees together, or if you have your bolster, you could bring the bolster underneath the knees and then straighten the legs. You could also have legs up the wall. And then once you're in this final resting pose, coming back to that breath that we started this practice with, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the mouth, exhaling through the nose. Inhale nose, exhale mouth, inhale mouth, exhale nose, and then as you sink deeper and deeper into the breath, maybe you call back into your intention for this practice. Allowing yourself the opportunity to just sit with that intention. With loving awareness. We sometimes get caught up in our thoughts, caught up in our emotions, maybe sometimes even caught up with our intentions. And when we get caught up, it's oftentimes really helpful to notice it with that loving awareness. And this loving awareness allows us to have this spaciousness from whatever we're getting distracted by. For when love is invited to take over, right actions arise at the right time. Allow me to wait patiently until the timing is right. Let me rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown. How can we show up for ourselves and our heart's desires again and again throughout our yogic practices, but also throughout our everyday life? Sitting with those words for just a moment, And then coming back into this awareness of the breath one last time. Can you inhale and feel the oxygen transmitting itself throughout your body? And then can you exhale and feel your body deflate just a little bit? Maybe now you inhale and wiggle the fingers and toes a bit, inviting in a sense of motion. And then maybe on your next inhale, you come into a fetal position. And when you're in this fetal position, maybe giving yourself a bit of a hug. Gratitude towards yourself for showing up for yourself, showing up to send yourself a bit of love. And then we'll meet in maybe 1 to 2 breaths in a seated position. And then when we're in this seated position, we're going to end the practice the way that we began. So we're going to inhale, cultivating that white light mist, and exhale, bring it to the heart center. 2 more, inhale, cultivating the white light mist, and exhale, bring it to heart center. Last one, inhale, collecting all of those intentions, and exhale, carrying them in our hearts, keeping the hands at heart center, bowing into yourself for a moment. May I know love, may you know love, may all beings everywhere know love. May the love that we cultivate in our practices be transmitted to all of those around us through small ripples of change. Peace, blessings, ashe. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you get something from this practice, and I hope to see you sometime again soon. Bye, yogis.